A very good afternoon to all of you. We just heard Mr. Zorawar talk about innovation. What I'll try and do over the next 15 minutes is I'll give you a flavor of how some of that innovation is truly coming to life with the magic that Gen AI has brought about in our lives in the past 1 year. Uh, this might feel more like a magic show, less like a presentation. And if it feels that way, I'm just truly humbled. And that's all due to the brilliant efforts that have been put in by my colleagues at Google. So let's get straight to it. Now, we did hear Mr. Rajesh from MasterCard talk about how India is super resilient. He talked about it with respect to inflation. Let me give you a quick spin on that with respect to the pandemic. McKinsey ran a study with consumers worldwide. So you see the different countries, and never mind if you have to squint to see this, I'll explain what it is. So there are different countries stacked up there and a whole lot of product categories along the vertical. So they asked consumers, now that the pandemic has hit us, what are you likely to do with your wallets? Are you likely to decrease your spends across these categories, in which case you will see that in red? Or are you likely to increase your spend in certain categories, in which you'll see that in increasing shades of darker blue? So what's interesting to note here is across the countries, consumers said they were going to cut spends across the categories. The little shades of blue that you see there in one column is what is interesting, and that is India. So India said, no, we will increase our spend across at least some of these categories, never mind the fact that alcohol was one of them. But let me contrast that with another chart. The same McKinsey ran the same study, this time focused on e-commerce. So they went and asked consumers, fine, you're going to cut spend. How are you going to treat your spend on e-commerce? Will you increase spend, in which case we're showing you in blue, decrease spend, in which case it's a red? So you see how the chart changes immediately. So it was clear that there was a huge shift to e-commerce, pivoted around the constraints, the difficulties that the pandemic showered upon us during those difficult years. So India is resilient, e-commerce is flourishing. The opportunity is really big, regardless of which of these subsegments within the larger retail segment you really belong to, whether you're a CPG or a retail company or an e-commerce. The growth opportunity is huge. And why do I say that? With CPGs, we've seen that they do want to switch to cheaper brands, private labels. Well, you treat this as a threat or an opportunity. And then there are also consumers, about 20% of them, who are even willing to pay for sustainable products. So there's a huge shift to eco-friendly products. Are we ready to capitalize on that is the bigger question. With retail, we see similar trends. Just the search for in-stock products grew about 800% year on year. And you'll have to trust me on that because we're Google and we're talking about search data. And we also see that 1 in 2 of the retail consumers are shopping across the online and offline categories. So isn't that a huge imperative for retailers to look beyond just the offline retail and move into e-commerce segments? Also, there are huge opportunities emerging for retailers beyond retail. So there are retail media networks. It could be opportunities around how you partner with payment channel partners, potentially as a new additional retail to look at. Same for e-commerce. The B2Bs are looking at buying from about 10 different channels today. That is up from about 5 channels that they used to buy from about 5 years ago. And what all this means is, yes, there are opportunities, but are we ready to do the kind of transformation that it takes to be able to address this big zero? What is this big zero? So this is the zero consumer of today. The zero consumer of today has zero boundaries. They may look at a product on a website. They may go to a social media site to figure out what influencers are saying about it. They may choose to ask their friends on WhatsApp if they've bought something and what they have to say about it. They may read up blogs, etc. They may eventually come to a store and buy or just prefer to order online. So it's a very fluid shopping behavior which we weren't used to all of these years. So that's the zero boundary customer. They're also zero in the middle. They are either scrimping or absolutely splurging. there is concrete data that says there is about a 15% dip in the consumers who are ready to spend on mid-priced products. They are zero loyal. They switch brands at the drop of a hat. They also have zero patience. If I cannot immediately pay for a product in GPay, just like I go and look at another app without waiting for more than 5 seconds, with retail, we see that if you cannot deliver what a customer has ordered in about less than 3 days, the sale is off. They probably went to somebody else who could give them the product now or tomorrow. So that's the zero patience that the consumers have. Sorry, you have a question? I'm sorry? Zero in the middle was about the spend dimension. So they are either scrimping on their spend, which means you absolutely price your products rock bottom, they're ready to spend with you, or they are ready to splurge. So you have the premium customers or the absolutely cost-conscious customers. The middle is shrinking. So the mid-priced products are finding less of a favor with the zero consumer of today. That's what it meant. Yes, I can share that. There's about a 10 to 15% dip in the consumers who are ready to spend in the middle bands. And then there is net zero as a buying factor. So net zero refers to sustainability. Like I said, consumers are being super eco-conscious. So what does all of that context now really mean to us? I talked about magic, I talked about AI, then where is AI? So here's where it comes. AI is already transforming in several ways the way that retailers are able to address that zero consumer. So if you look at how we take our consumers through that whole journey of making them aware of our products, getting them to be interested in our products, etc. The whole marketing motion is undergoing a huge shift, and I will cover some real examples of how that is happening in a few videos that I'll play later. Sales is undergoing a big optimization as well, thanks to AI. So how do you really bring down the cost of acquiring a customer is where the focus is with respect to sales optimization using AI. We are getting better at stocking, restocking our products using AI for demand forecasting. We are also able to figure out what is a fad, what is the fashion trend that will really sustain using something called trend spotting. Again, this is available from Google, just given the territory that we cover with respect to searches that happen on our sites. There is also sentiment analysis, so you can figure out what customers are saying about your product. That's been around for a while. The more innovative things are also around things like shelf vision AI. So we have, for example, retailers in the US who are looking at using Google Glass to figure out, as they walk through the aisles, what products are likely to stock out quickly, and then that reorders immediately. So the likes of your Walmarts are experimenting with this today, and I think it's, in fact, far beyond the experimental stage. Then there are recommendations AI. This has been around for a while as well, particularly relevant for e-commerce, where you figure out product affinities and recommend to customers what they can buy given what else they've bought from you. You also have a lot that's happening with AI with respect to document processing. So if you have contracts with several of your suppliers, how do you really load those contracts into a place where you can just talk to the documents, ask what you need, rather than somebody really having to wade through thousands of pages of documents to get you that nugget that you're looking for? Route optimization is a big one when it comes to cutting costs, making your deliveries more efficient. It is also about how well you stock up the trucks that are delivering what you need to the warehouses, so it could operate at multiple levels of the supply chain, but that's another big one. And then finally, customer loyalty and rewards. So the bottom line is, across the value chain, regardless of whether you're looking at the supply side, the demand side, the customer experience side, your back office operations, AI is transforming that landscape. And Gen AI is really just a subset of AI. AI research has been on for more than 30 years now, but it shot into prominence precisely because of what I think was handed over to the public with not as much of a thought as to how responsible a move that was, but that happened a year ago, and since then, there's a lot that Gen AI has been doing in enterprise settings as well. So all of that is great. Now, how can we get real, and how can you really reimagine what you do in the future with Gen AI? Let's look at a couple of examples. I will, in fact, take you through 5 different areas that you can reimagine with the power of Gen AI. The first of which is marketing. So Marketing managers struggle quite a bit with the back and forth that goes on in creating a copy for a marketing campaign. Think of the creatives that you have to create, the images that need to go into it, the campaign plan. Is it even relevant to my target segment? How do I really come up with a full brief? So let me show you something.
We'll build a campaign for simple, healthy snacks, highlighting the ingredients of its most popular granola bar.
Can you just enlarge that? Yeah.
Generative AI makes simple text prompts really powerful.
No, the previous one, can you just enlarge? I'm sorry about that. There's a glitch. I just need it on big screen.
We'll build a campaign for simple, healthy snacks, highlighting the ingredients of its most popular granola bar. Generative AI makes simple text prompts really powerful. For example, with a simple prompt, I can describe the image I would like, add a sentence or two about the desired content, click generate, and here we go. With the power of generative AI, I now have custom social media, blog, and email campaign posts that I can use across my marketing channels. From there, I can refine further. I can edit my image, I can make changes to content, and I can make text edits directly. I select the pairing of the image and text that I like, and done. The application we built with Vertex AI's new generative AI capabilities has made it possible for business.
So that was just an example of how a marketing person's life can become simpler when they're creating creatives. Here's another one, particularly applicable to CPGs. So if you're looking at accelerating product innovation, you would need to create, right from product concepts, that's starting with market research. So how can we simplify that process? So here you see that Tanya is a person who's in charge of product strategy, and she's trying to work on a sunscreen product at the moment. You see that she has a whole lot of consumer research that she's just uploading, or you can literally just point it to wherever it is, and then going through that whole vast set of documents. They may have text, they may have images, they may have tables, what have you. You can literally start talking to the document. So what are the jobs to be done by a sunscreen? And she gets a whole lot of answers just based on what's in the documents. This is quite like running your Google search, but already getting a very crisp, summarized three-liner view of what you need to know. What can we predict about sunscreen usage? Again, this is where it's taking summaries from the docs, but also using its own intel to predict what are you not satisfied with today? And then she also asks, what are consumers least satisfied with today? So when you're looking at product features and what can I extract from my market research to really guide my product roadmap, these are the kind of things that could be super helpful to process the kind of research documents that you may have. And here is the next interesting bit, right? You've processed all of it. You want to generate some product concepts. So all you say is generate these 15 concepts. I'm trying to do long-lasting moisturizer. It was a one-liner prompt, and look at what it's able to do. So it's given her 15 different options of what kind of product concepts she could generate. And you pick the ones that you're interested in, and then she says, generate images for it. So if you have to do your marketing, you've got to show the best quality images of your product, be it an e-commerce site or in your offline marketing collateral that you put out. So here are the image options that were generated based on that one-line text prompt that she had. Now we say, generate a copy for specific target demographics. Remember the documents we uploaded at the start? Those had details of her consumer segments. So here, it picks up those consumer segments already to say, Europe, we're looking at less than 40, women category, etc. And you can also play around with languages. I'm just showing German here, but rest assured, this is covered for about 130 different Indian languages as well. So for the likes of retailers, e-retailers who are looking at expanding into tier 2, tier 3 cities, this could be absolutely invaluable. You've got your product sheets that go with the products. Just put it there and say translate. And then you can get a product image with different backgrounds with just a text prompt as well. All right. So that was a quick view. And then if you've got e-commerce, what can you do with product catalog management? That's typically a big pain point, just given the complexity around it. Sorry, let me just move from here. Okay, so I will not get to this video in the interest of that bell. So product catalog management could be super complex. If I just have a product image that I upload, it can generate the whole product catalog description for me. It can even extract metadata and say where in that product hierarchy should it be classified. So I'm looking at apparel, within that I'm looking at shirts, within that I'm looking at men's shirts, and within that I'm looking at formal shirts. So all of that categorization is done for you, just like the magic show you saw, at the click of a button. So all of this is now possible with Gen AI. I'll take a minute to wind up. Struggling with clickers. I'm sorry. Okay. Quickly, we looked at marketing. Let me just quickly show you what is possible with call centers. Customers call you all the time for product replacements and queries about products. You can have your agents get a summary as and when the customer is talking. They can even get prompted with the right things to say. You can monitor your agents to say, are they saying the right keywords that you wanted them to say, and therefore use it for your call center coaching. In fact, Gen AI can also place the calls on behalf of your agents, talk. It is pretty advanced. It could feel like, what the call centers we have today are mostly a glorified version of IVRs, but Gen AI takes it to a whole new level because you are able to really have interactive conversations with customers in a very, very contextual manner. The fourth area that I'll like to highlight to you is about how you can reimagine how you develop your software. And this is, again, a superpower that Gen AI brings about because it can write code for you. So if you have a shop full of developers who are developing your software products, use this to generate code, use this to translate code. You can even use it to optimize code. Often what happens is when you get new developers on board, they struggle to understand the legacy of what you have because it is a bunch of code, there isn't enough documentation, and it can generate that documentation for you as well. So look out for how this is going to revolutionize the whole IT back office that you might have to run your retail or CPG or e-commerce developer shops. The final one that I want to cover is on back office operations. So you might have procurement where you're dealing with contracts. We talked a little bit about that. You might have HR help desks as well that you can look at Gen AI to man. So if I have, for example, employees inquiring about leave policies, you could have your policy FAQs just pointed, literally using a tool. You just provide a URL to say this is where it resides. It can start answering questions for your employees in an interactive fashion. So that was all great. I just had a couple of examples of where customers are using this, but I'll skip it in the interest of time. This is my last slide. The future, what does that look like? So we just released Gemini, which is by far our most powerful AI model till date. It's powerful because it's multimodal. All of the examples you saw here pretty much took text as an input. Gemini changes that. It can understand images, it can understand video, it can understand voice, it can understand any kind of input that you're able to provide, process it to answer questions, generate images, generate videos. In fact, the joke going around when we do this with the media industry is that in the future, it's perhaps going to take more time to watch a movie than it would take to make a movie. It really is where we are headed, and I'm truly excited for what lies ahead of us. What is important to note, and this magic show would not be complete without it, is the fact that all of this is coming with a very, very responsible approach. So if you do use any of these Gen AI models from Google, be rest assured, because the perception is that, yeah, Google, you know everything about us, you're going to use our data. No, we're not going to use your data. The models and the data all reside within your tenant periphery on Google Cloud. So it is an extremely responsible, extremely ethical approach. We've got a whole lot of principles that outline whether and how we work on any of the AI projects you bring to us. So it goes through its rigorous process of calibration. Leaving you with this, if you'd like, please scan the QR code. We'd love to work with you. This is a Gen AI hackathon that we're hosting for customers in APAC particularly. If you have ideas that you'd want to work with us on, or if you're just generally interested in how this sort of technology could really transform, reimagine whatever you're doing, come to us. We work with you on those ideas, make it happen. That's the hackathon code for you. Thank you, and magic show over.